So you're saying that during Pride Month, you're going to throw your cat in the closet. That's what I'm hearing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I am going to let him out in an hour. And then we'll have a big coming out party for Meatball.
The real fun starts when we hit record.
Yes.
It's more like all of the ideas go away.
That's true.
When I hit record, it's like, wait, what am I even talking about?
Just like when someone asks me a question and everything in my brain goes away.
Yeah. I don't have a tagline, though. I've been trying to think of one all day.
Did we actually use the tagline life-giving distraction? I think we should still use that once. Yes.
Do you want to do it?
Yes. Okay. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Welcome to Pickles and Vodka, the podcast that is your life-giving distraction.
Yes.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Lauren.
I'm your other co-host, Christina. We're just out here saving lives every week.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is a podcast where we talk about mental health and all the ups and downs, of which I feel like we had a lot more downs this week. On my side, at least.
I mean, I teased this to Christina. I could start with an up.
Yeah, let's just get right into it. Lauren, where are you at today? I know you have a secret you told me you wanted to share.
Yeah, and I'm glad you reminded me, because you're right. I feel like a lot of this week has been kind of a downer. But my mom called me early in the week, and so my grandpa passed, I think it was March, maybe beginning of April. But, you know, he was 97. It was good life. You know, that's not a terrible thing.
I'm just over here like, is that the up?
I know.
Like, where are you going with this?
And my mom has 4 sisters. One of them has also died, and one brother. And
this keeps getting better and better.
I know.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
But first of all, my grandpa, like, towards the end of his life, was super, super proud of the fact that, you know, he must have made, like, good investments with his money, because he would be, like, you know, just a guy with a 8th grade education, and he died with over $1 million. So, you know, he loved being able to say, like, I am a millionaire.
Damn, must be nice.
I know. And
I feel like that would be really stressful.
Honestly, at the end, I felt like my grandparents should have spent more of that money.
Yeah.
You know, I think they got used to saving for a rainy day, and I'm like, guys, you're in your 90s. What rainy day? This is it. But anyway, so his will was just flat out, all of the children split the money evenly. My mom calls me and says, so we were all talking, and her and all of her siblings were in agreement that they were just like, we want to send each of the grandchildren $10,000. Yeah.
Holy shit. So Lauren's quitting the podcast to go start a pet resort in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Which, could you do that for $10,000? Probably. Anyway.
I was going to say, I mean, I'm not sure it's that kind of money, but it definitely means, since, you know, my lease is up in the end of July and I'm trying to find a place to move and I'm going to need movers and all that's going to be expensive and you got to put, you know, a deposit down as well as the first month's rent. I'm just kind of like, it means that that's not stressful.
That's amazing.
So that's really nice. Yeah.
What was your reaction when you found out?
Honestly, I was kind of hoping that we were going to get a little monetary something.
The truth comes out.
That's true. So when I heard, you know, like, I mean, it was nice. I figured it's nice for my mom, and maybe less nice for some of my aunts and uncles that are like, have homes all over the country and can buy anything they want.
Your mom has 2 houses now, right?
That is true. But I mean, she's not one of the more rich ones. That almost just means she has to keep up 2 houses now.
God, I feel so poor listening to this conversation. But money okay, people who say money doesn't buy happiness don't get it. I'm sorry. I feel like money would fix all my problems, low-key.
Yeah. This was just a conversation that I had, that it's been proven that money actually does buy happiness to some degree.
Podcast over.
And I'd said that as well. I mean, we talked about this when it happened, because I was on the podcast then, when I got 2 raises in a week, and within the course of the year, almost like doubled my salary, which was sorely needed. I was very underpaid. But when that happened, that's exactly what I thought, is I was like, dude, money did buy me happiness. Screw that shit. Yes. I mean, it bought me not being concerned, like, about living day to day. That's some happiness.
That's the thing in this country right now. Like, I know so many people that are just constantly on the brink of financial ruin, and that's just the norm.
Yeah, like, I understand the phrase of money doesn't buy happiness, where it's like, well, if you were making $500,000 a year instead of $400,000, you're not going to be happier because of that. And I'm like, well, no shit. But if you make $50,000 instead of $20,000,
oh yeah, that's life changing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember the first job I had that wasn't in the service industry. It wasn't even high paying, but for me, it was everything.
Yeah.
My quality of life went up drastically.
Yes.
This is actually kind of relevant to our topic. I guess we should have said this at the beginning, but this week we are going to be expanding on what we were talking about last week, which was friends. Lauren picked that topic, and yeah, we could talk about it a lot.
And clearly you could too, because there's lots of good responses.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone who sent in your thoughts on the episode and on friendship in general. We'll be sharing some later. But one of the things that came up was that your friends are people who will celebrate with you. Spoiler alert. And your situation now is kind of like that. Money can be kind of a sticky topic in friendships if there's like an inequality there.
Yeah.
And that's something I've struggled with because I grew up poor and I've never really had money, and I've had friends who had a lot more money than me, and it has the propensity to get weird sometimes, or like weirdly jealous.
Yeah, I definitely had that problem in the past.
But now I'm just like, you know what? Good for you. That is fucking amazing. And I'm so, like, I asked you how your reaction was, because if it were me, I would have just, like, started crying.
I mean, yeah, I was definitely very grateful and very shocked at the time. I wasn't expecting anything, so...
Yeah, you're not over here waiting for him to die, just being like...
Exactly.
Checking your bank account.
Yeah. So then when a couple months later, when I get a surprise, like, we're going to give you some money, then I'm like, oh my God, that's wonderful. That's really going to solve a lot of things. Yeah.
You know what I'm picturing right now?
Oh no.
It's an Arrested Development quote. You probably know.
No. Of course I do.
Money, please.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What does a banana cost? Like $10?
Oh my God. I mean, nowadays, we're not far off from that.
That's true.
So that's your big news. You got some money.
Oh.
How's your mental health been this week in light of that?
I mean, that part is obviously good, but when I think of the week, it's more like all the same stress is still there, though. I mean, I'm still looking for a place to live. I'm worried about not finding a place. I'm feeling inadequate at work. I'm feeling inadequate at my aerial classes. I'm just bleh.
Yeah, you were saying
I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
It started.
Get away!
Us to our listeners, get away!
Stop it!
Oh my God.
Fucking hell. Sorry, I'm in a more awkward spot to get up. That's why I was hoping to just scream at him, but hang on.
No.
Hello, boy. How are you?
All right.
I like your baby voice. I don't hear it very often.
You would hear it if you heard me around Pico more.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I noticed that when we do Where You're At, this is like a pattern.
Oh, no.
I noticed that you always start with something that happened, not something you're feeling, and I always have to drag it out of you. Like, how is your mental health?
Boo, I don't have feelings.
How dare you talk about mental health on a mental health podcast?
How dare you assume I feel things?
Oh, God. And I feel too much, on the other hand.
I think for me, yeah, maybe it's like I have to ease into it.
That's fair.
I start describing something because I know that is related to how I felt all week. So maybe that's it.
No, my parents are the same way. I'll be like, let me think of an example. My dad and my mom both went to pick up my brother from jail this last week in Indiana. And when I had dinner with my dad, you know, before I went to the Symphony on Mushrooms, listen to last episode for that story.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you feel? And he was like, well, we're going to leave early in the morning and then we're going to drive for 14 hours. I'm like, well, that you didn't answer my question.
That's not a feeling. Yes.
But maybe they're like you and they're just like, they have to ease into it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of like emotionally fragile right now because I had an interesting day yesterday with my therapist.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of our session, she was basically like, I feel like you're a suicide risk and I need you to fill out a safety plan before I let you leave.
Ooh.
And I want to preface this by saying that I am not actively suicidal. I don't have a plan or anything. I was just kind of talking about the general feelings of hopelessness I feel with what's going on in the world right now, as a lot of people probably do. Like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but growing up and even as an adult, I kind of assume that everyone is depressed and like low-key suicidal.
Oh.
Like, how could you not live in the world and feel like everything is hopeless?
See, I assume the opposite. I assume nobody else is, and I'm the only one that feels this way, and that's why nobody understands me.
Ooh, yeah, well, yeah, that's the other side of the coin. I think your version is maybe closer to the truth.
Yeah, also, I am just as downtrodden by the whole state of the world, but my assumption is that most of the world just likes to be fueled by hate, so that's why it's so terrible, but they are, they're getting their fuel, so they aren't feeling like this. They're just like, I love to hate.
So basically what we're saying is we need to become more hateful to stop feeling suicidal.
Well, I was thinking maybe the world needs to stop, like, focusing on hate, but okay.
I'm just being facetious.
I know.
But yeah, for those who don't know what a safety plan is, Lauren, you've filled one out before, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to list your triggers, and then you have to list your warning signs that things are going badly. And then you have to list internal coping strategies, like things you can do without contacting other people. Mm-hmm. Like, the purpose of this is to start going down the list and escalate your support as needed. So, like, the first step is, can you help yourself? And then if you can't help yourself, what are some people and social settings that provide distraction? And then if that doesn't work, it's like, okay, what are some people that I can ask for help? And then if that doesn't work, it's like, okay, what are the professionals or agencies that I can contact? And then it's like, how do I make my environment more safe? It's like all this stuff. And it's a legal obligation for therapists to like fill this out. If they have a reason to suspect that you might be like serious about it in any capacity, they make you do this. So she kept me an hour late to fill out the safety plan. And then she was like, okay, I'm so sorry, but I have to send this to someone.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, you might as well just send it to my mom.
I don't think I've ever had anyone have to send it.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that. She was like, either I can contact her and send it to her, or I have to watch you like text it to her before you leave.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, just send it. I don't care. I've been feeling really like discombobulated ever since.
Well, having to send that to her, it's like bringing someone else in and like, what do they think?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, maybe this can tie into the topic of friends, but my mom called me after that, obviously, and was like saying all the things that people say, you are so loved, you are so talented, you have so much to live for. And like coming from my mom, I don't know. I was like, well, of course you're going to say those things. And also those things are true. Like I know those things, but that doesn't really help me in the moment.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I feel like in your situation, I would have felt a certain level of guilt knowing how, because it was like, as soon as you said, because like I said, I've never had to send it to anyone. So when you said that, like my insides immediately froze like, oh, ooh, that's, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. She literally told me I would not be able to live with myself. Like, if anything happened to you, I don't know what I would do. And,
that's not the right response. I mean, they don't know it, but it's kind of not.
But here's the thing. later in the day, I had a phone call with Orion, friend of the pod, and he kind of was saying similar things, like, you know, if you were to overdose, whether intentionally or accidentally, like, I would think about it every day. It would, like, my whole life, I would never forget. But it didn't make me feel the same way as when my mom said it, as when, like, a friend said it.
Yeah, well...
Oh my God.
I know. Let me try again. Look, here's the plan. He's going to climb up on the bed again where I can reach him. And as soon as he does that, I'm going to have to stop because what I'm trying to do is get a hold of him so I can throw him in the storage closet. Because that's far enough away. There's a couple doors between us that even if he scratches, I won't hear it. So I'm just trying to get my arms around him.
So you're saying that during Pride Month, you're going to throw your cat in the closet. That's what I'm hearing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I am going to let him out in an hour. And then we'll have a big coming out party for Meatball.
Oh my God. I love it. I don't want to... This intro is way too long. But anyway, the point is, sometimes when your friends tell you things, it comes like... I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I get it that it feels like more of a guilt trip from a parent.
Yeah.
Even though they're saying the same thing.
I mean, all that said, I am grateful for my mom for her support, and I am also grateful to Orion and like all my other friends who tell me nice things. I don't know. I do feel a little guilty. You can tell like how uncomfortable I am talking about this because I don't know. I don't want to make people worried, but it was a real bummer. And now I'm just like, well, am I a danger to myself? I don't know. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Now let's talk about friends.
Yay!
So first of all, before we get started, I want to challenge all of our listeners to tell a friend about our podcast this week.
Ooh.
We have not asked people to do that in a while. And if you're a real friend, you will share our podcast.
Yeah.
Because ads suck. We will never do them. But also, we want people to hear about us. So yeah, tell a friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, last week we put out a question to listeners. What are your friendship green flags? And how do your friends help you or enable you with your mental health?
Yes.
Maybe we can just play the voicemail that we got.
Okay.
So we got quite a few comments in answer to this, and we also got a voicemail from our friend Heather.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're going to play that now, and then we shall discuss.
Okay.
Hello, Christina and Lauren. This is Heather. I feel like I have so much to say about friendship, but I'm not going to make this too long. So as a kid, like, friendships were pretty much what kept me feeling like I could survive. You know, they were my happy place and, you know, made me feel like there was some normalcy in the world. And that's kind of always been what I've gravitated to, you know, feel okay and safe. So I've always had really close friendships, just a handful at a time, you know, never more than like 3, maybe 4. But that was always like so meaningful to me because we could support each other. And I'm even talking from a very young age, like I just held my friendships so near and dear to me, and I still do. Fast forward to, I made it my first new friend in adulthood this year in March. And it's been like a friend revival of sorts. It's just one friend, but she means so much to me. It's just like serendipitous as hell. Like we met through a homeschool group, a co-op for our kids. And just right off the bat, I felt like I knew her forever and ever. We've been there for each other like since the day we met. And it's really both of our first friendships in many years. Probably, you know, my first new friend in like 18 years, probably, honestly, because, you know, I keep really long, close friendships. But yeah, so that's been wonderful. And how friends help me is by being there and I give that same energy, like the energy is so well matched. That's why I can really appreciate this friendship. So we really check in on each other like every day. We have kids that are BFFs now, doing sleepovers, and we can literally just lay in the bed and hang out under covers and talk. And that is so magical for me because it's just so easy. Like nothing feels forced, nothing feels hard, nothing feels ingenuine, you know? So that's my most recent experience with friends. But friends help me by helping, just checking on me, honestly. That means so freaking much to me. Making space for me, helping me, or, letting me help them. That's most important to me. And how friends can hurt is by, there not being 50-50 in the friendship. I've experienced something like that, being there no matter what time of day, no matter how early I had to be at work, no matter every crisis, I was there. And I was just like, suddenly I just couldn't do it anymore, especially because I started trauma therapy, and it was just like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do all of these things and be a mom and have a job full time and go to therapy. And so it was just too much. And I don't have any, bad blood over it. It was just like an experience that was unfortunate. And Christina's right. Friends aren't meant to stay in the picture forever, I don't think. Some are, some aren't. I've had both experiences. I've had friends I've known since kindergarten I'm still friends with today, but there's a few. So, green flags, someone who makes you feel like you can be yourself. Like, that's so important. It's the most important thing in the world, to be yourself. No judgment, share stories and feel like they see you for who you are. And remembering things like the friend, Lauren, your friend or coworker that remembered about the blue foods. Those things make me feel so special because I'm like, or special gifts that are thoughtful. It's like, you like really know me and you care about what I like, Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about friends. I think I could go on literally, though, a lot longer. But good topic. I really enjoyed the episode. And I joined Substack, and this might be my new addiction, Substack. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thank you so much, Heather, for sending that in and for plugging the Substack, picklesandvodka.substack.com. What are your thoughts, Lauren?
One of the things that immediately made me happy is the comment that she made about, like, having, a really close friend now and saying, like, we can just lay under the covers and talk. Because
Yes.
I've literally experienced that. It immediately reminded me of a good friend that I had for a long time. And I came over once, and she was really excited because she'd gotten kind of like a white noise machine for the first time and played like nature sounds and stuff like that. And she's like, here, let me play it. And we were just laying on her bed with nature sounds going and, just looking up at the ceiling, talking. And it felt so comfortable and so nice. I was like, I love those moments.
Oh, I love that too. I've never really had friends like that. I mean, I guess when I got my IUD at the age of 23 in Austin, my friend Bianca, who was also my roommate, she drove me to the appointment and back. And then afterwards I had the worst cramps, and she brought me whiskey in bed, and then we just like laid in bed talking.
Yeah.
That's such a nice memory. I really like the idea of a friend revival. It gives me hope. As someone in my early 30s, I'm a little younger than you and Heather, but I already feel like it's impossible to make good friends at this age, but it's never too late. And I like that it's just someone she met in the homeschool group for her kids. Mm-hmm. We didn't really talk much last episode about how to make friends as an adult. Firstly, because we're not really good at it. But if you just follow the things you're interested in, then the friends will come, I feel like.
Yeah. I've made a couple friends since moving to St. Louis. That was like 6 years ago at this point. And I do sometimes look back on that and just like, oh, this is actually a new friend. And they're not like that kind of friend, I'd say. Because I think of like the friends I have here, and they've already lived a whole life and they are pretty busy and stuff like that. But, a couple of these friends, when I think of, I'm like, maybe we don't hang out all the time. Maybe we don't talk every day, but they have proven to me a few times when I need it and say, like, I need some help. And they're like, yeah, I got you.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to say last week, but I forgot. Being there for your friend doesn't necessarily mean you have to, text them every day or physically, go see them all the time. I think just letting your friends know that you're available if needed. Making space, as Heather said.
Yeah, like thinking of this friend, an example is like, I am so used to taking care of everything by myself because that's what I've done since, I was 20 and always lived on my own and just felt, like it's all me. That's all I got in life. And so, when a good friend of mine was getting married and I was in the wedding and I suddenly, as it's getting closer, then they're like, well, we're going to do this the night before. And, you need to be there like early and it's going to be all day. And I was starting to realize like, crap, it's going to be hard for me to do all the things that I need to and take care of Pico. And just being able to tell this friend, like, can you watch my dog overnight? And she's like, yeah, of course. It's like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Like, show up when I'm in a jam. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think something else Heather said, letting them know that you're like, oh God, I'm going to attempt to pronounce a word. Reciprocity?
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I know you're saying something based off reciprocate, but it sounds like a difficult word to pronounce.
Yeah, it's like, well, she was saying like she likes it when the friends help her, but also she helps friends. Like,
ooh, reciprocity, is that it?
Yes.
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 It only took two of us.
Yeah, like helping friends when they are available to help you in return is such a good feeling. Like, I have watched a few friends' pets this year, and I just love doing that because not only is it nice to help someone out and be around animals, but I also know that because they asked me for things, that opens the door to me asking them for things in the future. So I really like it when friends ask me for favors.
Yeah, I like being able to do things for the people I like.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to ask for things of your friends.
Yeah, on the other side, that was the other like big note I took from her voicemail is I totally agree about like when it's not 50-50 or it's wildly unbalanced, then you got a problem. It's understandable why that's just not something you can keep up.
Yeah. Balance is the answer to life and also the hardest thing to obtain. But yeah, thank you, Heather, for sending that in. We love you. Let's go to the comments. Would you like to read Vicky's?
I would. Vicky says, making friends as an adult is not easy, but maintaining friendships is also really tough.
True.
Between work and responsibilities, there's not much time left for socializing, and many of us prefer and need alone time. Also truth. Mm-hmm. But I think it's worth the effort to stay connected with friends. I think the best friends are those you can just hang with and have no worries about awkward silences or keeping them entertained, but you can just be.
Oh my God. So I struggle so hard with that last thing because I have a lot of anxiety. And even if I'm hanging out with someone that's been my friend for 10 years, I still am always worried about keeping them entertained. Like, I want it to be worth it to hang out with me because I'm subconsciously worried that they'll stop being my friend if they're not having a good time with me.
Yeah.
When you do have those friends that you can just be yourself around, that's another thing Heather was saying. Like, it's so important to be able to be yourself. And sometimes my true self is just someone who lapses into awkward silences and like doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, same. I mean, ironically, at this point, probably my longest term good friend would be Vicky.
Yeah.
Because we met each other over 20 years ago, even though it was online. It's like we've known each other for about half our lives at this point.
Yeah. If you haven't heard our episode with Vicky, go back and listen. It's great. I forget what it's called.
Me too.
It has the word live journal in it. Just search Pickles and Vodka live journal Vicky.
Yes.
But yeah, maintaining friendships is really hard, especially if they live far away from you. I think we both have a lot of experience with that. But my best friends are the ones that we can go months without talking and then start up like nothing has changed.
It kind of sucks because the person that I would have said that about for years and years is the one that just kind of cut me off in Chicago with no reasoning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not every friend is going to last. And that's just a reality of life. Not every friendship is going to be able to be maintained. Not to be a bummer.
But there's also, friends that I have not seen or contacted in years and years and years. And then at some point our paths cross, and it is like we meet up and we immediately just like pick up where we left off.
Yeah. And it does take effort on both of your parts, even like for some reason, I will put off texting someone back or making someone a voicemail for days. Like I have to be really intentional about sitting down for 5 or 10 minutes and recording a voicemail. And those are the kind of things that keep friendships alive. And yet it feels like it's hard to fit into your life sometimes. But yeah, I feel like you do have to be really intentional about it. You get out what you put in.
And I think I feel the same way as you about that kind of stuff a lot, is like I start to feel embarrassed about the time that's gone by and just kind of like, they don't want to hear from me.
Yeah, just joke about it. That's what I do. I'm like, God damn it, I forgot to respond, but, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Because the truth is, if I got something like that, like someone that had not responded to me for a month and then they do, I would just be happy to hear from them. So I got to think like the other person probably is too, even though I'm putting so much weight on it.
Have you seen that post on Instagram about people coming in and out of your lives?
Don't think so.
I'm going to pull it up and read it because it's really relevant. This is from an Instagram account called Chaotic Neutral Knitter.
I love it already.
And it says, I think one of the hardest things you can do for people with various mental health struggles is just let people back into your life after they've been absent for a while. Making friends as an adult is so fucking hard already, and isolating yourself from other people is a very common symptom of depression, anxiety, burnout, OCD, trauma, grief, etc. Which means that someone will do the hard work of recovery/healing and resurface back into a world where their previous friends have written them off because they stopped showing up. So if you know someone where you're like, yeah, we could have been better friends, but they fell off the map a bit, and that person suddenly reaches out or starts showing up to events, even though you kind of forgot they were still in the group chat, well, they may have been going through it, and you don't actually have to punish them for their absence. You can just be glad that they're back. What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, I hope that people would listen to that.
Well, I've been that friend.
Same.
And I've lost friends because I dropped off the face of the earth, basically. And as someone who just went through my own mental breakdown / is still going through it, I kind of am in the phase now where I'm kind of reaching out those feelers again. And I think the fear of being rejected keeps people from doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, no duh.
And because it happens. So, if you've experienced it, of course it creates fear in you. Like, it's going to happen again. I didn't like it when it happened before.
Yeah. But the older we get, I think the more clear it is that, yeah, people are going to have to take some time away from the friendship to deal with life shit sometimes. And
right.
That's normal. Again, I don't want to generalize. There are special circumstances. But yeah, let's go to the next comment.
Okay.
So I posted this question in our private community, so these answers are going to be anonymous. But a few people commented, and the first comment says that their friendship green flags are celebrating my successes just as loud as I do. Mm-hmm. Also, remembering the details about my life that I share with them. That weird coworker, my sister's fight with my mom, whatever else I'm going through. Remembering those little details about my life means a lot to me, even though sometimes I feel like that's the bare minimum, but lots of people forget everything. Also, someone who is willing to tell me when I am spiraling / being a bit much. For instance, when they went through something rough, their partner died, they could tell who their real friends were by those friends who could be like, hey, maybe being pissed drunk and trying to fight a cop at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday isn't part of your healing journey, and you need to get your shit together. It's tough to tell your friend to get their life together, but it's a genuine act of love.
Yes.
Whew. Have you ever had anybody call you out for your behavior in a friendship?
Oh, absolutely.
do you want to talk about, or do you have an example?
I don't know how much I want to talk about this just because I think that we have talked about this in the past a few times on the podcast, but I have had one of my best friends here right now when not the last time, but the time before that, when I went to treatment in 2019, then that's what she basically had to be like, I can't watch you do this. and I love you and I will always be there for you. But right now I need distance.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't keep doing this.
I think, well, first of all, how did you feel when they said that?
I mean, you feel kind of shitty that someone is saying, you know, like, I can't support you right now because that would be supporting you in a negative journey.
But you were glad they said it.
Yeah, but it's like you hear the, like, I can't be around you right now, and that sucks. But I did totally understand, and it did tell me, especially, you know, like, because they were very quick to say, like, I am not going to leave you, but yeah, I can't physically be here right now, but you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do it right now, and I will be here in the end.
And, you know, it does suck to hear, but I think I would rather someone tell me that than just kind of disappear with no explanation.
Yeah, just be like, nah, I don't like this, I'm out. Or just be like, well, I'll just make this more like a fair weather friend sort of thing. And, you know, I'll just sit by and won't really say anything and let them do their thing.
Yeah. But that's, you know, if you're someone like us who struggles with anxiety and rejection sensitivity, if someone just kind of fades away like that, you're always going to wonder, like, what did I do? Do they hate me? Because that's happened to me too. Like, I had a really good friend who I was friends with for over a decade just kind of disappear from my life and like unfriend me on everything. And I still, to this day, I have my suspicions, but I don't have closure. You know, I had to work through my grief with that.
Yeah, and that is honestly my Chicago friend that abandoned me that I brought up before. I mean, I think it's because I was going through a really, really shitty depression time. So I know I wasn't responding as much as I should, but it's because I was like struggling to live. And instead of, you know, asking me or saying anything, then apparently I'm speculating because I don't know. But it seems like she just decided I can't deal with that and just stopped talking to me.
Which, you know, that is people's right.
Yeah.
Like, no one has to stay in a friendship where they're feeling uncomfortable or whatever. But yeah, if you have the capacity, I really would recommend at least trying to have that conversation. Easier said than done.
Yeah, even if you still feel like this person is not good for me in my life and I need to cut them out, if at all possible, at least give them, like, tell them.
Yeah, it's hard though. No one likes to be called out, but yeah, those are the real friends. I'm trying to think if I've ever like called someone out.
Me too.
Do siblings count?
I think so, with how you grew up with yours. I mean,
yeah, like my sisters at certain points have been my only friends, especially when I moved here to Virginia. I didn't know anybody. And yeah, we've had our conflicts over the years, and every time I have stayed silent about stuff and just let it happen, even though it was bothering me, I've regretted it, and our relationship ended up suffering. But I am very conflict averse.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, that's probably what I've done more, is I've needed to call someone out, and I haven't, and I should have.
Yeah, as we tell people to call people out, we're like, oh, I've never done it.
Right.
But it's hard. I was telling my therapist yesterday, I am trying to be better at like fighting with people.
I love it.
Like, one of my sisters told me recently, I fight with people all the time, and it doesn't have to be this relationship ending thing. It's just something people do. And yeah, if your friend is doing something like trying to fight a cop at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah, then maybe something else is going on and they need to kind of reevaluate.
Unless they're protesting, in which case I support you.
More power to you.
I will bail you out. Well, if I had money. Maybe Lauren can bail you out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I will now.
Okay, the next answer is pretty short. Do you want to read it?
Sure. It's just letting me roast them and roasting me in turn.
Yes.
And it's short, but I so relate to that.
Yeah?
I feel like I give off this vibe early on that I'm just kind of this like quiet, reserved person and doesn't have the totally fucked up sense of humor that I do. So I feel like I've been in the situation sometimes where I have to let people know, because I feel like they're kind of like tiptoeing around me. They're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that around you, or oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to offend you. And I'm just like, dude, if you say something that offends me, I'm impressed, because that's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, this comment totally made me think of our friendship. Because, I feel like we roast each other on the podcast all the time, and it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're good at, calling each other out for something ridiculous, and then we both laugh at it, because we know.
Well, yeah, and it shows that they know you. If they know, like, what makes you quirky and what is, like, worth roasting you for, that shows that they've spent some time with you, and they're comfortable enough to be like, hey, this is ridiculous.
I think of my old band in Chicago. That was like part of the reason I enjoyed being around them so much, is I just felt like we got that sort of relationship. Like, for example, my drummer was notorious for always telling us, like, if something was going to change in the music, he's like, just signal me when like, this is going to happen. And we're like, well, it's just 4 measures. You just have to count to 4. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm like, we have the only drummer who can't count. I used to always, like, call him that.
Good thing you're good with numbers.
Right.
I know I already mentioned Orion in this episode, but I feel like Orion is a really good friend in terms of, like, roasting.
Yeah, I've noticed that even, like, on the episodes we've done together, or when I've joined our support chat.
Oh yeah, our support group, Pickles Anonymous.
He'll always come out with, like, a zinger at some point, but it's all in fun. He's not saying, like, I actually do not like you because of this. Like, it's just like, no, you just dropped a truth bomb, and I love it.
Yeah, my friend Janai is also really great with that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
P.S. Listen to the sex episode.
Listen to the sex episode. Oh my god. I listened to it like twice in the last week because I was sad and I needed to be cheered up. So funny. Okay, the last comment, again from an anonymous friend, says that their friendship green flags are accepting ADHD/anxiety/panic attacks as a reason for being late. Like, no worries, I'll go do XYZ until you're ready. Remembering details about me I thought were inconsequential and nobody would remember about me. Asking if something is triggering, doesn't have to be those words, but that general idea. For instance, if it's a topic I don't like discussing, or if I'm okay with hugs. Ooh, that's a big one. Noticing and thanking me if I go out of my way for them. Being a cheerleader when I talk about things I want to do or am worried about succeeding in. Hyping me up in general. I can list loads of red flags, but green flags is nice because I'm actively thinking about my closest friend as I list these. Yeah, I love that. Again, this is a relevant topic for our podcast, because we talk about mental health, and we talked on the last episode about how our mental health conditions can get in the way of our friendships. And we also mentioned, or I mentioned, that like most of my friends are also mentally ill because they are generally the people that I am not afraid of being like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. I'm having an anxiety attack. Or even like, I need to cancel. I had a terrible day. And they won't even question it. They'll just be like, yeah, take your time. No worries.
Reading this, I loved because I explained earlier about, my friend that had to kind of like call me out and keep her distance. But then, when we were able to come back together in the friendship, this is exactly the sort of friend that she is. And I feel like we're that to each other. One of the things that I always remember is when I met her, she just had clearly been taken care of all of her life and kind of didn't understand how to do a lot of life things. Like, she flat out was just inept in the kitchen. And so like a couple of years later, when she has her own place, I come to visit her and she's like, I'm going to make dinner. She's like, I know how to cook now. And she did make us like a lovely dinner. But during that time, then, things weren't working out, and, she would randomly like scream at things not working how she wanted and freaking out like she like, but all in good fun. And I remember she made a Facebook post after that was like saying that I came to visit her, and she's like, I loved the moment where I'm screwing everything up in the kitchen and everything is a mess. And she said, that I turned to her and I said, oh, good, you know how to cook now, but you're still you.
Well, yeah, just accepting your friends as they are and not having expectations of them like having to change.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And that friend also has ADHD, and it's something that we laugh about because I don't hold it against her because I know the reasoning behind it. But I always tease her about that if we're going to meet up somewhere. I'm like, I know that your brain somehow computes that if you are leaving the house 1 minute before you're supposed to be somewhere, then that means you're on time.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, I build that much time into it, just so you know.
Sorry, my reaction sounded really judgmental, but I have to be like 10 minutes early to everything.
Me too. But I know that about her. So I know when I say, like, we're going to meet here at 2:30, then I'm like, that means she should probably be leaving her house at 2:10, but she's actually leaving her house at 2:28 thinking I'm right on time. So I plan for that, and we just get a kick out of it because we know that's who you are.
I think for me, my biggest annoyance as a friend, I guess, is I'm really forgetful. It's hard for me to remember things like birthdays or stupid stuff like people's work schedule.
Yeah.
And I've had friends that have been rude about that in the past. Like, how dare you not remember? And so as a result, now I'm afraid of asking because I don't want them to think that I don't care. So I know it's a good friend when they know that I'm forgetful and they don't take it personally if I ask them to repeat a story or something. And a lot of my friends also have ADHD and they also forget. So we're just always repeating stories to each other and it's great.
Yeah. Right.
Also, pro tip, if you have a hard time remembering birthdays or work schedules, put it in the person's contact info on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
They have a notes section and I've started writing down any random thing about them that I want to remember. It's a little cheat.
Yeah, I have recently tried to get myself in the habit, if it's someone that I have only met recently, to actually put their address into my phone.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one too.
Because I was always bad about that, and I would feel guilty that I'd have to ask every time that I'm going over, can you remind me your address?
Oh my God, yeah. I will spend 15 minutes scrolling through our conversation, trying to find the last thing rather than just ask them.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all the comments we got. Thank you to everyone who responded. Not bad for our first pickle poll back.
Yeah, good responses.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you wanted to cover about friendship or?
I don't think so. My best friend is laying right next to me. That's Pico, of course.
Of course. Yeah, your other best friend is in the closet.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just very, very grateful for anyone who is still friends with me and who keeps investing in our friendship. Even when I'm swept up in my own crisis and I can't always be there for my friends, I know that they're there for me. And it makes me feel really safe in my friendships to know that they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative talking about friendship green flags and realizing the people in my life that exhibit some of these. So yeah, just the people that are showing up, I'm just grateful that you're in my life.
Seriously, I love my friends. So that's the show for today. Next week, we'll be back with the topic of my choice.
Woo!
And until then, tell a friend about the podcast and also tell them how much they mean to you.
Yeah, that's a big friendship green flag is when you tell them about an awesome podcast.
I thought you were going to say when you tell them how much they mean to you.
Nope, all self-serving comments.
Yeah, send your friend the life-giving distraction of pickles and vodka.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like what you heard, don't forget to tell a friend about our podcast. You can direct them to picklesandvodka.substack.com where they can find our entire archive and also get access to our chat. We're on Instagram at Pickles and Vodka Podcast, Facebook.com/Pickles and Vodka Podcast, and YouTube.com/@Pickles and Vodka Podcast. My Instagram is at XtinaJumper and Lauren is at LaurenAFH. We have a free support group every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Go to join.freeconferencecall.com/picklesanonymous. We'll see you next week.